to the Fixtures Podcast, Game Week 2, Episode 3, whatever you want to call it. Today we are without Nicky. We are Nicky-less, and I'm joined today by Mike Balzano.
What's up?
And Mark Naom.
I'm back.
Did I get it right that time?
Yes, sir.
Okay, excellent.
Hi, Mark.
What's up, Mike?
So Mark has returned from Canada, and we got a lot to catch up on. So let's kick things off at the top. We're going to go Arsenal 2, Burnley 1. Was Arsenal lucky in this game?
Probably a little bit. I feel like we definitely had a bunch of shots off. I mean, Nick Pope is a legend after that game, but yeah, maybe a little bit of luck in there.
I think Burnley really surprised me when it came to their attack. I didn't expect to see them getting the shots off that they were getting off. I don't really see much out of Burnley in general, so being able to sit there and watch that, I was really thrown off by how many shots Ashley Barnes and Chris Wood were getting off.
Yeah, they did well. It was kind of weird because they're doing well this season, much better than I thought they would. I had them pinned to go down.
Yeah, me too.
I don't think so anymore. I think there are much worse teams.
I don't know. I still don't believe it until I see it. So.
I know, it seems almost
and
like
I did see that game, but like I feel like they're still going to get run over later on in the season. I think this is just them starting with a fresh start.
Probably, but if they can get enough points in this and keep this run of form
and that's the
going,
thing is they did drop.
They did drop points, but against Arsenal. So I mean,
well, and the other thing was, weren't they up 1-0?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh no, it was Lacazette who scored the first goal. Absolute perfect goal.
Oh yeah, that was a beauty.
Lacazette in the 13th minute, Barnes in the 43rd, and then Aubameyang in the 64th.
We should probably do that for like every game.
Oh yeah.
Explain when they scored.
Sure.
This might be a departure from the long ball kicking Sean Dyche worm eating Burnley that we saw past season. So that's exciting for them. Hopefully they'll be more fun to watch this season than other seasons.
Yeah. My God.
I've been enjoying them so far. So.
All right, moving on.
Yeah, not much to talk about in that game. I think Arsenal got lucky here, which is weird because they were at home against Burnley.
At Burnley, the other note for that was Burnley has never beaten Arsenal at home.
Never got
right?
points actually off Arsenal in the Premier League. But and then Sean Dyche accused Arsenal of cheating. That was rich coming from him. But.
And then we got our moment finally of seeing David Luiz and Guendouzi on the field together.
And they look exactly the same.
Yeah, show Bob and his son.
So,
speaking of Guendouzi, real quick, he's 19 or 20, something like that. I don't know how he's already broken into the squad, and he looks so good. It's insane.
It's the hair.
Ask Fellaini.
All right. Well, this episode's probably not going to be an hour and a half long. But no promise.
You say that, but you don't know where we're going with this.
We were shooting for under an hour.
All right, what's next?
So we'll just talk about how long the podcast is to fill time that we don't need to fill.
It's like when you go on stage, you have a 30-minute set.
Oh man! All right. Up next, Southampton 1, Liverpool 2. That was a weird game.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that one to be the one that was 0-0 through halftime, right?
No, because Mane scored right on the half.
Oh, okay.
Because Liverpool played like complete garbage for almost 45 minutes, and then Mane out of nowhere with that rocket.
Do you think the Super Cup had anything to do with that?
Oh,
for
absolutely,
sure.
Absolutely. I don't doubt that.
How do you feel
for a
about
second.
that?
I made my opinion on that clear last podcast. I think it's dumb, and the moment it went into extra time on Wednesday, I was just panicking because I'm like, this is not good. Because again, I mean, we're starting our full squad because, I mean, you want to win the Super Cup. You don't want to just write it off and be like, all right, we're just going to let Chelsea win it. I mean, we can't let Chelsea win it.
Tin pot trophy.
So, I mean, we still needed to give it our all, and I mean, we did, and we won it, which, I mean, it wasn't even our all. But it definitely takes it out of the players to have to travel to Istanbul and back and play 120 minutes plus penalties, and then come back and play against Southampton on Saturday, and pretty much the same starting 11. So that's not easy, and I think it definitely took a toll on them, and they definitely looked tired that first half. But they picked it up definitely in the second half. They looked really good.
Well, they didn't want to drop points.
No. And I mean, and I think it just shows the resolve of that team. I mean, they could have easily been... that game could have easily finished 4-0.
And it should have.
It should have.
Because Southampton is not a good side this year.
Definitely not.
Shea Adams looked pretty good, though. I will say that he was one bright spot for Southampton. Their midfield looked okay.
If Danny Ings wasn't Danny Ings, he would have buried a second chance. That would have been sad.
Well, and let's of course talk about the moment of the game. Adrian, of course, throwing the ball,
amazing,
or kicking the ball right into Danny Ings.
You know what that reminded me of?
The goal. Did it remind you of Allison last year when he did the same thing?
No, Loris Karius.
Or maybe Karius when he did the same thing.
Is this like a running thing
or maybe
for Liverpool?
Mignolet when he did the same thing.
He only did that once a week. Though, so.
Why does Liverpool just do that? Like,
yeah. And then, Klopp even after the game said something to the effect of, now, he was just taking after Allison. Now he's really a Liverpool goalkeeper.
Well, he only said that jokingly because they won.
Yes. No, I mean...
I don't think he would have been happy with a draw.
Oh, no. Oh, God, no. No. I think he would have been furious with the draw, especially after that. And, it was never really that nervy in that second half, even after that second goal went in. I mean, Danny Ings had that chance that was quite good, but it wasn't... I don't think it was anything... We were never in any real danger, I don't think.
Well, and that's the thing, too. Like I said last week, Southampton, they have a great team for the championship. That's all I can say, because they're not they're not good enough to keep competing in the Premier League.
No, even against a very tired Liverpool.
Yeah,
so.
If I could redo my picks, I would put Southampton at 20 at this point.
Oh no! I still have Newcastle, which we'll get to in a moment, but Newcastle's beyond hope, I think. But we'll get there in a moment. Up next, we have Brighton 1, West Ham 1. So
well, we just watched the highlights on this one, thankfully.
So
a little behind the scenes there for you.
Is Brighton is good? Find out next
what
time.
the heck?
Yeah, Brighton put on a good display. Could have easily been 2-1 Brighton.
It should have been.
VAR making the
Leo Trossard first goal.
Calling it offsides. There's a lot of debate whether VAR should be used in those circumstances because the call is so tight and the camera can only capture so many frames per second.
It was because it was a scoring goal or scoring moment, though. I feel like they have to do it every time somebody scores.
Or at least when it's questionable.
How can we guarantee it's 100% accurate is the question. It's because players move so fast and the camera only captures so many frames per second that
if you do see that highlight, he was just very slightly offside, and it was so close, but he lined up offside, and the whole thing was that the ball missed the person that it was going to, and Dan Burn was the one who picked up the ball who was standing in offside position at the beginning of it.
Only by this
was off of a free kick.
His foot. Even. Yeah. But other than that, I mean, you can't really knock Brighton for that. But Brighton looked, very attacking for once. I remember the Brighton that kind of sat back, took it. But now with Graham Potter, hopefully they're entering a new era of attacking style.
Yeah,
I think they are. I think he's done a fantastic job so far.
Yeah, I'm kind of sad that I put them in. I'm kind of sad that I put them in that relegation spot. I think Brighton has a bright future.
Yeah, I don't. They definitely don't look like the worst team in the league, or even close right now. So, but that could, of course, change. There's still a lot of games left here. Everybody's kind of young and hopeful, except for maybe Newcastle.
Newcastle's already accepted their fate.
So that's Brighton West Ham 1-1, and of course Chicharito getting the goal away from a pretty weak West Ham side, obviously missing Felipe Anderson and Sebastian Haller.
But they got Pablo Fornals out there. They got Manuel Lanzini.
Yeah,
they should be playing better.
Antonio.
They have, but they're missing
It doesn't matter. They should be able to at least maintain.
Well,
and I think they did, yeah. So I don't know. I'm still not that impressed by West Ham. I think that they aren't one of the stronger sides, and they should be doing better. Yeah,
they should be doing better than they are. Absolutely.
West Ham and underperforming. Name a more iconic duo.
Yeah.
So what's next?
Up next we have Everton 1, Watford 0.
This is one I missed the highlights for.
One of only 2 clean sheets.
Yeah.
The other one being Sheffield United. All weekend. A lot of goals scored. Everton kind of being good at defending. Strange.
I mean, they've got a pretty alright backline.
Is it that Everton is good at defending, or is Watford just in shambles right now? Because I don't think Watford looks great so far to start the season.
You don't think Welbeck up front is the best striker? I don't get it.
And I mean, yeah, Watford is kind of floundering a bit right now. They really didn't put on much of a showing in this game.
8 shots, 2 on target.
Yeah, and I mean,
well, and they ride Troy Deeney so much. I don't know if he's really
good,
more than a season, striker for this.
Yeah, they're gonna rely on him a lot, and it's unfortunate.
But
because he's not, I don't think he's a quality player that you can rely on.
And they have great youth. They have Peñaranda, and they have what's the other guy? We're prepared for this, I swear. But they have Peñaranda, and they have another striker that's young, that's good.
And of course, De La Feu.
Oh, Andre Gray is okay too, but yeah, I think De La Feu should be good enough at that point too. But yeah, it's Watford.
But you can't forget. I mean, Everton's defense on paper even is pretty
Their
all
whole
right.
team on paper is fantastic, and they should be better.
I think that it's not their year this year, obviously, because it's never Everton's year.
You could say it's somebody's year at any time, and it's just
But Dean and Coleman, I mean, on each flank look pretty good.
Yep.
And Dean with that clearance that kind of ended up accidentally being an assist. That was nice for him.
Yeah, Luca Dini is a strong. Was he left back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's strong on that left side. So I have no doubt that Luca Dini and Coleman, and then they also have Michael Keane and who's the other center back?
It would have been Kurt Zuma last year.
Oh, thank God it's not anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Chelsea's.
You know what? That might have been why Everton had such a rough going at defense last year.
But and of course Jordan Pickford holding the sticks. But
I just recently learned that they got him from Preston, so that's kind of cool.
But
in 2015.
I don't know. Everton seemed pretty good, and of course Bernardo taking his chance there. Can't mistake him.
Yeah. So that's Everton 1, Watford 0. Moving on, we have Norwich 3, Newcastle 1.
Pookie party.
I just remember getting message after message from Ryan oh my God, Pookie again.
I never would have expected him to be putting up the numbers that he is so far. If he actually manages to
he wins Golden Boot
maintain
this year
this and win Golden Boot, I will be absolutely shocked.
He has an average of 2 goals per game, so he's going to score 76 goals this season.
Better than last season in the championship.
He's the Finnish sniper, the legend of Norwich.
Yeah, he's leading the race for the Golden Boot right now, tied with Raheem Sterling. So
that's incredible.
Yeah.
And to think, the Golden Boot race would be Raheem Sterling, Timu Pukki, and Ashley Barnes. 2019, everyone.
Welcome to the new FIFA.
And of course, we will say we're only 2 games in. There's a lot that can change.
Oh yeah, of course.
So, disclaimer.
And it was against Newcastle.
I don't think I really, really don't think that Timu Pukki's going to win the Golden Boot or even be in the running.
Well, you're wrong. So.
It's 3 against Newcastle. So.
To be fair, Aubameyang couldn't score 3 against Newcastle, so basically we're getting relegated.
So Newcastle, of course, I think we've mentioned it. They're in trouble. They're in a lot of trouble right now.
Well, they defended against Arsenal pretty well.
That was also 4 out of 11 of our starters.
They still defended decently for that, and maybe that means that they're going to be ready for the championship. But I mean, look at this. They got Matt Ritchie out on left wing back. What are they doing?
They're playing Steve Bruce ball, so
Yikes.
yeah, it's Steve Bruce is not the man to be in charge of that side.
Guys, they're still leaning on John Joe Shelby. John Joe Shelby.
He scored, man. Like
I know.
You can't knock him for.
But like, what about in 3 years when he's
He'll
gone?
be 30.
He's 27.
He's 27.
I thought he was like 35.
No. No, he just looks 35.
He looks like
he's 27.
He looks like it. He kind of looks like Gru from Despicable.
He does.
Or Voldemort. Yeah, 27.
He also looks like
the
that, yeah.
opposite of having no nose.
Oh yeah, he does look like Voldemort. Take away that nose, yeah, that's Voldemort right there.
Yeah, so they're going to be in trouble, though. And I think their only chance of survival at this point is the unlikely situation that they get rid of Steve Bruce and have a very, very good January window.
Scroll down a little bit on the bench here. Why? There's so many better options out here. I don't understand it. Anyway,
Newcastle is
Well, they don't have a good
mind-boggling.
striker. They really don't. Joelinton is not...
Worth 40 million
Is not
whatsoever.
like he's fine and he's young, but at this point, Newcastle doesn't need a young up and coming striker to lead the line. They need somebody who's seasoned and can score goals.
Well, that's why they have Muto, but he's not that great.
Yeah, no, score enough goals to really keep you up. And Almiron is an assister. He's not gonna.
yeah, I don't really know why he's
Score
playing
goals.
striker there.
Well, I think he's playing more of a shadow striker role.
Okay. Well, so yeah, basically Newcastle, the same that they've been this season. So we'll see what happens coming up, but something's gonna have to change in that lineup.
They're gonna
and
need to turn it around quickly, otherwise.
they still got the winter transfer window too, that they maybe can bring in somebody on loan or something, but we'll see.
Yeah, well,
they can do a great escape just like Leicester and Sunderland did.
I could see them, and that was the thing too. Is that's why I put them at 17th, is because I can still see them surviving, but just barely.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. Not currently. Up next, we have Aston Villa 1, Bournemouth 2.
Okay.
Poor Aston Villa.
I don't say poor Aston Villa for this
They
one.
should. I mean, they
The
didn't take
first
their
goal was their
chances.
fault.
Oh, it's Douglas Luiz's fault.
That was a terrible pass.
Oh, I mean, he tried to leave it for someone, and he left it just straight for.
He
who was
gave it
that
right
scored?
to them, and they just
Yeah.
walked it in. Yeah.
Oh, for Harry Wilson, young up and coming.
Yeah. Harry Wilson looked fantastic in that game.
Oh yeah, of course he looks fantastic.
He
He's a
looked like the
fantastic
best player on the field for both teams.
He probably was.
Yeah. But overall, yeah, I think Bournemouth actually looked better in that game. Aston Villa looked terrible. They looked like they didn't even want to play that game, so it really wasn't that surprising. And also, but I mean, like, sure, you can also say, they let in a goal on their own. Like, they messed up at the beginning. This was like 1 minute into the game that they gave up that goal.
Tom Heaton's penalty.
So, like that's that. That once that happens, you're in a weird mindset, and you
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's a shame though, because I think this was a winnable game for Aston Villa.
it should have been.
It should have been, especially against the Bournemouth side that's not really doing that well as of right now. Like,
I think that Bournemouth looked fantastic in that game. I actually sat and watched that game, and I would say Bournemouth looked much better this week than they did the previous week, and I think it's because they got that early momentum.
Well, right, yeah. I mean, how much of it was Bournemouth playing well versus
Villa playing terrible?
Bournemouth rattling
Yes.
Aston Villa and keeping them kind of questioning it and catching them off their guard. Because, yeah, I mean, when an early goal goes in like that, it does rattle you, and especially, when you get 2 goals early on. Playing most of the game 2-0 down is not easy. They were lucky enough to get the 1 goal back, but
And that was a banger.
It was Douglas Luiz is, I guess he kind of redeemed himself with that.
I was saying they should do the buyback clause and get rid of him because he looked awful until that point.
So just pulled it up. Aston Villa had 22 shots that game as opposed to Bournemouth's 12. They should have scored. I mean,
They really should have.
In front of goal. That's what you get when you have Wesley up front. But like, come on.
I don't think
63% possession, 7 shots on target,
Yeah.
22 shots, 490 passes to Bournemouth's 295.
Yes.
And stats don't win games, guys.
Yes.
No,
Exactly.
and I mean
You can learn that in FIFA too.
Yeah, and I mean, but how much of it was Bournemouth really just getting lucky with those goals?
It wasn't. Villa was, like I said, they got rattled early, and this was their first home game in the Premier League, and they just couldn't maintain the pressure.
Can't help but feel bad. I mean, they've made all the signings. They've done everything right off the pitch, but on the pitch they're just not good enough.
Well,
at least right
their
now.
first game was phenomenal.
Was it though? Because I mean, they fell apart hard against Tottenham.
It's against Spurs, man.
Well, I know, but
when your first match is against a team in the top 6 and you're expecting to make an impact, they scored a goal. I mean that on its own is pretty much a success to me.
But I mean, you've seen newly promoted sides beat out top teams before. I mean, I think Huddersfield beat Manchester United in their first season. That was
Huddersfield was a very interesting.
Those teams can win those games, but I mean, the problem was Villa, like I said, Villa came out guns blazing, ran out of energy, and Spurs capitalized. So,
and I think that was the plan all along. And I think that was also Bournemouth's plan in this game, too. It seemed like they wanted to have Villa to have the possession.
So, I mean, here's my question for you guys. Is Aston Villa pulling a Fulham? Did they make too many changes, and have they lost their squad harmony?
No, yeah. They can play together. That's what Fulham lacked. I mean,
Look at that that central mid pairing with John McGinn,
Jack Grealish,
and who did they start? They started somebody else. Douglas Luiz. I honestly think that the Conor Hourihane starting instead of Douglas Luiz starting was a better option. I think the three of them worked all really well together. So I guess we'll see because they spent a lot of money on Luiz. So.
But
I think their attack is lacking, though.
I think Engels is the problem. I haven't seen a very good. Actually, both these guys,
Al Mahavidi.
Yeah, Al Mahavidi. I think these guys are because it seems like everybody's attacking on the left side.
Yeah, you can say that Al Mahavidi is a proven, Premier League player, but he's proven to get, I think, relegated with Hull. So I mean, you can't really say too much about him.
Exactly.
Well, and how do we feel about Trezeguet and El Ghazi? Because I feel like
I think they just did that to pair them with because they're both Egyptian, right? So I feel like they just decided to. They're like, oh, we have El Ghazi already, so let's get Trezeguet.
They're going off of Ultimate Team rules. So
It seems like it,
But Trezeguet doesn't look too bad. He's pretty quick.
No, I think
he was okay.
Good, but
he got some good crosses into Wesley. And
I don't know that
Wesley
they're
can't
be
finish.
Big goal scorers either.
I don't think so. I think they're going to be like the team that slogs it.
And that's I think a problem with this team is I don't see where the goals come from.
I mean, maybe
John
Jack
McGinn.
Grealish.
What are you talking about?
But they have a front three who aren't going to be scoring goals. They're going to be, they're going to be hoping that John McGinn and Jack Grealish are going to be scoring.
Douglas Luiz.
Hopefully Douglas Luiz.
If he keeps that up,
do that every week. He'll be the new Ruben Neves.
We'll see.
All right. Well, that's Aston Villa 1, Bournemouth 2. Moving on, we have
I have the biggest smile on my face right now.
Potentially the game of the week. Manchester City 2, Tottenham 2.
Ew.
What a game this was. First of all, I just need to say, Kevin De Bruyne is unbelievably good. He
was a man on a mission.
He bossed this game.
He's back after last
so
season.
hard. And I mean, I don't feel bad for City after this draw, but I do feel bad for him because I really feel like his teammates let him down in this case because he played so well so well, and they just didn't. They just didn't see it through, and I mean it's a strange situation because City obviously dropping points doesn't happen often, and it's hard to pick out a weak link
Especially at home.
in this side. Oh, especially at home. I thought Gundogan did not do very well. I don't think Otamendi did very well.
I thought Rodri was kind of a joke too. I didn't think he was that strong
And
either.
I think Bernardo Silva had a very quiet game.
He's had a quiet start.
He had one. Well, he didn't play last game. This is his first game, and I mean he had one good moment of some good skills, but I mean he really was quiet most of the game.
Do you think that's going to forfeit his spot though? As a starter.
Mahrez did do pretty well.
Mahrez has looked fantastic so far.
Is within a Pep Guardiola side, everyone in this team will be rotated. Everyone.
Yes.
And that's just how Pep plays. No, there is no guaranteed starter. There isn't. And
I mean, if you look at that bench, anybody could be starting.
Oh, exactly.
Anybody on that bench would be starting anywhere else.
And everybody will start.
Yeah.
Everybody will start in that side. I guarantee you.
And that includes Phil Foden.
David Silva will start. Phil Foden will start games. Fernandinho will start games. Mahrez will start games. Cancelo will start games. Every single person on that bench is going to start some games this season. And I mean, that's just the way City is. Bernardo Silva didn't play last week. He played this week. And I don't think that necessarily, just because he had a quiet game this
R.I.P. your
time.
Fantasy team.
I know. That's why it's so hard picking City
2
players
points.
in your fantasy team, because Pep's wheel of rotation keeps on spinning.
Yep.
For the first goal, I know I'm kind of changing topics real quick, but
you're fine.
First goal, Ederson, what is you doing?
He was off his mark, and Lamella caught him off guard.
Goal, yeah.
Lamella is a man on a mission right now. He wants to stay in the starting.
And I say this, and I get laughed at when I say this. I don't think Ederson is that good.
I think he's top 3.
I think
in the Premier League, maybe.
Yes.
He's far too rash with his decisions. I feel like that's not the first time I've seen him.
But would you start Bravo
Sadio
over him?
Mane
No.
Well, and that's the thing. They didn't buy a new keeper, so they have. This is their options.
I mean, but I think. Well, I don't, and I think he would be a good keeper. He just needs to be told to stay on his line because.
Well, and Pep does yell at him.
Because I mean, the Liverpool game was it last year comes to mind, where Ederson got caught off his line at about half field and Salah just chipped it over.
Well, and you saw Kane try for that too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Kane tried from like where Harry Winks is on this stat thing.
Yep.
So like
it's pretty far back.
It was from about the halfway line.
It was before the halfway line. Yeah, he was just like
with us,
yeah,
which is everyone listening. Yeah. No, so yeah, I think Ederson. And I get that that's kind of what Pep wants him to do, and why he's picking him over Claudio Bravo is because he wants somebody who's good with his feet, who's going to be able to play out at the back. But
yes,
and I mean that's kind of the risk you take with a keeper like that. But it's I feel like he can be a little bit more disciplined and stay closer to his goal so he doesn't get caught out like that again and again.
Absolutely.
So,
I think they're becoming a little complacent with the team that they have.
I mean, they're basically league winners,
Sure.
already with just the players that they have.
But they could easily have brought in better center backs.
Of course.
And they could have brought...
they started, Stones and Otamendi. Well, one of those two.
This one,
it was Laporte and Otamendi.
And I think Aymeric Laporte is a huge joke. I have never seen him play a good game.
I think their center backs are going to come back to bite them because they don't really have.
Yes,
Vincent Kompany.
You can play over the top of that team forever, and somebody is eventually going to beat them.
Zinchenko didn't look great either.
No, he definitely looked tired.
He looked very good the first game, though.
I will say that too.
But he did get injured a little bit more than halfway through the game, so I will give him that. He got injured, and there was no more subs.
I think the Spurs' their biggest issue was starting Kyle Walker-Peters in this game as a right back, unproven in the Premier League. it was just gave them a weak spot. And that's why Sterling was able to score so easily, and that's why they just kept attacking that side, because Kyle Walker-Peters can't mark well yet. He's still learning. So Toby had to move over, and then it was a bit of a mess.
Yeah, if there's a right back in the league to pocket Sterling, it's definitely not Kyle Walker-Peters.
Yeah.
Not yet, at least.
Well, and I mean, it was unbelievable that first half watching Kevin De Bruyne just slice.
I thought we were going to have another Champions League game.
Just sliced open that Tottenham defense on several occasions. And I mean, there was a couple chances where Bernardo Silva blew it. I think Aguero blew a couple. And I mean, City should have done better here. I think they could have scored more.
Bright spot for Spurs was Christian Eriksen started. And he looked great.
Yes.
He looks like he looks right back into form. I think last year's issue was the World Cup wear, and the stress of finding out what he was going to do with his future. I think he still has that on him, but he looks a lot more relaxed now.
Well, I think he knows. I mean, his contract's up after this year. He's not signing anyone. I think he's.
He could either re-sign with us, or
I think he's mentally prepared to leave, because most teams in Europe would want him. He's pretty good. So.
And of course, Lo Celso coming on for Spurs.
I didn't get to watch it, so I can't say. But
he came on pretty late.
Yeah, it was like the 80th minute or something like that.
Yeah, he really didn't do too much. But
it was at that point we were just like, shut it down.
Yes. So, and I think that leads us to the moment of the game. Gabriel Jesus
comes on as a sub. This has happened before, by the way.
Well, yeah, and I think let's start with the whole chain of events. Gabriel Jesus gets subbed on.
Sergio Aguero
gets pissed, throws a tantrum at Pep, is screaming at Pep, screaming at the assistant that he's coming off. Which, I mean, first of all, if you have a team with two good strikers, you're subbing them at the 60th minute. Every chance. I'm sorry. Sergio Aguero and Gabriel Jesus are very closely matched in terms of skill level. They're different types of strikers, but I mean, I would rate them near each other.
Yes,
it's not like a case, where you have Harry Kane and then your backup is what?
It was Lorente.
We don't even have one right now.
Yeah, like you don't even have a backup. Like you can't sub off Kane.
Lucas Moura, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, when you have two good strikers, you're subbing them off at the 60th minute to keep them fresh, especially Pep Guardiola, because he's going to play both strikers every single game.
Sure. And
there'll be games where Gabriel Jesus starts and Aguero comes on at the 60th minute. It's just the way it is.
Yep.
So that happens. Followed up by a goal that is disallowed by VAR due to a handball in the box.
So this is the dumb thing, and so it was a good call for the rule that it is, because the rule states that if a goal happens off of a handball, it is disallowed, no matter what.
Yes.
So you can't be mad about it, because that's the actual written rule in black and white. This is it. You have to follow this rule.
The new rule. This is the new rule.
Yes, but they wrote it down.
Well, yes.
It's written in paper. It doesn't make it seem like.
No, and I don't think you can be upset with VAR in this game, because VAR got it right to the letter of the law.
It's just funny because it's City.
The argument is the handball rule too much?
I mean, remember that one time that Callum Chambers had his hand in front of his chest and got called for a penalty? So I think handball rules are getting way out of hand now. I mean,
well, the biggest issue with this too is that it did also hit one of our hands, our being Spurs.
Yeah, and I think I feel like, even though yes, that makes sense to disallow it, I feel like it went in off a Spurs hand.
Well, first it went off of
Laporte,
yeah, and then it hit Ali Skip's hand, and then it went in the net. But
well, and I think so. The new ruling is that if the ball hits someone's hand and it leads to a goal, that it is automatically disallowed.
Yes.
The reasoning for this, and the reasoning for the removal of if the hand is in an unnatural position rulings that was prior, is because and Hans brought this up, so credit to him, my cousin, that it's too easy for players to fake a handball and do it on purpose.
Yes.
And make it look like an accident, and then it lead to a goal.
That makes sense.
So it's a hard rule to judge because you don't want players taking advantage of that, and we've seen time and time again that players will take advantage of any loophole they can in the rules, and until they're patched, that there will be players who are doing stuff that they shouldn't do.
Well, and the other thing you have to keep in mind is it goes by so fast. The refs aren't going to see it. That's why they need the VAR decision for that.
And I think without VAR, this is a goal.
Of course.
Absolutely. There's just no way.
Of course.
But
every goal is reviewed, and that's exactly why it happened.
And I mean, so
I think Pep just hasn't gotten used to VAR yet, to be honest.
I mean, you can't do any tactics against that. That's just bad luck. So
no, and I mean,
how many times has it happened?
And
Name a better pair.
And Laporte's hand was not in an unnatural position. Under the old rulings, I ruled it as a goal personally, because his hand was not somewhere where it shouldn't have been. It was to his side where where you'd expect a hand to be. And the ball just happened to be bouncing around the box and hit his hand. So,
the other argument that I heard too was that nobody on Spurs protested it. Nobody was saying he did a handball because they all thought it was a goal.
No, I don't think so. I think everyone on that field was just as shocked to find out that the goal was disallowed.
Yeah.
And I mean,
I think Poach laughed it off.
Oh my god! And I think Pep laughed it off too, because what else could he do?
Yeah, what can you do in that situation?
It's just unbelievably bad luck. And I mean, of course, the Sergio Aguero Pep embrace after the goal.
Yeah, that's also funny because it ended up washing itself out too.
Yeah, which was also ruled off by VAR.
Well, I think if they have a vote next season to keep VAR or get rid of it, I think we already know City's vote.
No, that's not going to happen. I mean, and like I've said before, VAR is going to have growing pains. These are the growing pains that we have. And I mean, the fact of the matter is that VAR has not gotten anything wrong at this point, according to the law.
Yes.
This is purely the new handball rule, not VAR's fault.
Yes. This is literally everything was legal. Everything followed the rule, and the call was made correctly.
But if
it's a frustrating call for City fans because they don't get it yet.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess Spurs fans wouldn't get it either. So
and I think it
is the growing pains.
If that happens to any team in the league, I'm sorry, I don't care who you are. The manager's going to be upset. The players are going to be upset. Everyone's going to be claiming how the handball rule is terrible, VAR is terrible.
Yes.
Because it happened to them. And I mean, it's going to happen to most of the teams in the Premier League at some point this season, where there is going to be VAR calls that would have been a goal. I mean, we've seen so many already, and we're only in game week 2. Like, there's going to be so many calls that are going to be ruled as no goals from VAR because of either really, really close offsides that never would have been called before, or from this handball rule. And there's going to be penalties from this handball rule.
I feel like this handball rule is not going to make that much of a difference.
I don't like it. The unnatural position just worked. I mean, obviously, unnatural position was like different to different.
Yeah, the problem with that was it was gray.
But can you claim a time where there's even a potential? Like, nothing comes to mind last year of anybody trying to exploit that rule.
I don't think it's not possible.
I can't think of it off the top of my head, but I'm sure there was a moment.
If anybody should be upset about a change to a handball rule, it should be the guy whose team lost the Champions League final to a handball ruling. Lest we forget.
Yes.
But
R.I.P.
Which, I mean, and I feel like that's more of a danger with the new handball ruling than it was in before, where it's potentially a player faking it. Now you run the risk of players intentionally shooting for the hands to get that handball ruling.
That's fair. I
That's
feel
a
like
huge- another
debatably what happened in the Champions League final.
I wonder-
if Mane purposely.
it's not like it's an easy thing to do.
It's not
though.
an easy thing to do, but
But-
I mean, but in that, especially in that case, it was a close, tight one-on-one.
Sure.
And he kind of just blasted the ball into his chest, and he went to block it, and it's just the your gut reaction to do that.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be. I think that's a very easy thing to take advantage of.
Sure.
That's a whole new can of worms that both us and of course Sean Dyche will open later.
So. Yeah.
So that's Spurs City, and
So there's some food for thought. We'll see how things play out with the VAR and the handball, and what was the other one? Goalkeepers can no longer throw the ball into the opposition net from their own box.
where did that rule come from? Did somebody
I've
actually do
never
that?
seen it happen.
No.
Then why is that
No.
even? Oh my god! Why was that even addressed?
Closing the loophole.
Precautionary rules.
Anyway,
Yes. So there's a new ruling that a goalkeeper can no longer throw the ball from their own box across the entire field into the opposing goal. If that happens, it is no longer considered a goal.
amazing.
Which I vote it should be considered a goal because that is quite a feat.
And I said it should be
impressive.
2 goals because wow. At that point, you just
What does that
deserve the win.
goalkeeper's just whipping the ball back and forth, trying to get the 2 points.
If you can throw it over 11 people, I am
Hey,
impressed.
22 to be fair.
Yeah, I'm very impressed.
man. All right.
They're just gonna start picking up quarterbacks from the NFL as goalkeepers.
Yeah, it'll stop. They don't care about good with your feet or good with good shot stoppers anymore.
Yeah.
Just people who can whip the ball.
All right, what's next?
This next game might make Mike a little happy too.
Sheffield United 1, Crystal Palace 0.
I was blown away by how well Sheffield United played that
The
game.
only other clean sheet this week, the other one being Everton.
Yes.
What a weird game.
Yes, I know.
Crystal Palace are gonna get relegated.
And still keep Zaha because that's their
Zaha.
only thing. That's all they have left.
Oh God, Roy Hodgson's gonna be in the championship. Like I'm still not letting go as it's not
He's
happening.
mine.
200 million euros.
The rough thing that happened was Callum Robinson did get injured, but overall, their center back scored. So what else can you
I
say?
mean, I think Lundstrom's playing in center
he was
mid.
playing in the- he was
yeah.
playing-
yeah, he was playing center mid.
I think
but
that's
still.
just what he's going to be playing.
Is listed as
Yeah,
a
he's a
defender, but
center back.
He's been playing kind of a defensive midfielder.
Well, and that's the thing too is their center backs. All their center backs go up for the attack.
yes.
So
Overlapping center backs, a revolutionary tactic by
Yes.
Chris Wilder. But
until they
honestly,
get destroyed by somebody like City.
I mean,
Yeah.
if they can pull it off against Palace, you know what? More power to them. That's not bad.
Palace is actually a pretty good side. So considering what they did, I think that it was a pretty solid day for Sheffield United.
And Zaha did start this one.
Yeah, he did.
Oh yeah, Zaha started this. I mean, yeah, this is a full strength Crystal Palace.
Yeah, no,
side.
they weren't sitting back. They weren't by any means playing them off. They played them pretty well. I just think Sheffield was the better team that day.
I mean,
right, and I think we see that because they won. So
Yeah. I
Well,
mean, and then, you know, Palace's
Even on a
midfield-
draw, I would say that they were the better team.
right, and I mean, yeah, 15 shots to Crystal Palace's 6.
Yes.
although only 3 on targets. That's not great. And the Crystal Palace actually
think about who's shooting those.
yes, Crystal Palace actually controlled possession, 58% of possession. So
Yeah, when they went down, Crystal Palace was slowing it down a little bit, and they started controlling the ball a little bit more.
yeah, so
Palace's midfield's an enigma. I don't
It's
understand.
really interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know how you can have Milivojevic and Max Meyer in the same.
Well, and
midfield.
Max Meyer's playing right mid
Yeah,
now,
that's-
which is weird because
Yeah.
He's on the
he
right
is
or the
not.
left?
Yeah. Either way, he's playing
out of position
a
for
wing
sure. Yeah.
position, and he's not a winger
right, yeah, he was on the left.
on the
this
left.
game,
Okay,
you
yeah,
know?
because Andrews Townsend.
He got displaced by MacArthur.
Oh yeah, absolutely, because he's not better than MacArthur.
Which is, I mean, they brought him in for like, you know, a boatload of money. I don't.
Well, they brought him in on a free.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, that was
feel
one
like
of the
an idiot
players
now.
that Schalke let go.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. 'cause
So they're paying him.
He wanted to find a bigger team than Schalke, and he
And he
left.
chose
Because
Palace.
Schalke refused to play him.
So I mean, then he's got to be being paid like, you know, a lot. I mean, free players get paid
Decently, yeah.
a lot more than, you know, players that they paid for. So
Yeah.
he's
He doesn't
just
look
not
good
looked
at
up to
left mid at
snuff
all.
in the Premier League. I mean, just in the Premier League in general.
Oh yeah,
he doesn't look up to snuff.
he's had a rough going at the Premier League for sure.
You can only help but feel. You can't help but feel bad for him. Like, he was like, I'm leaving Schalke because I think that was the season that Schalke finished second. Was
Yes.
it? Yeah.
Yes.
He left Schalke after they finished second on a free. And he's
Losing
like,
him was a huge mistake for Schalke, I feel.
Schalke did so much badly, so much
Max
worse.
Meyer was jealous of Goretzka because Goretzka
Yes.
got picked up by Bayern Munich, and Max Meyer was like, "Well, I could play at a big team too." And then he was like, "I'm not going to sign a new contract. Big teams, come and get me."
I feel like I'm
And
pretty sure a team.
And Schalke was like, "Well, you're not playing for us
Yeah,
anymore."
and then Roy Hodgson showed up and was like, "Well, come to Crystal Palace."
Yeah.
And
As
he
the
was
only
like,
person
"Well,
that owns a
God
Schalke
dang
jersey
it."
here, he did not.
I do.
Oh,
own a
you
Schalke
do?
Jersey,
Oh,
actually,
okay.
yeah. But yeah, I don't get it. Why Palace? He could have. He had offers from other places. I
Did he?
swear.
Yes.
Before, yeah.
We're-
But I think they were smaller than
No,
Palace.
Yeah, I was
like
gonna
the
say, I think
season
Palace was the
before.
biggest
I feel like the
team.
season before
Maybe
he had.
I
Like,
think that was before I
a
started
couple
really
big
paying
offers.
attention to Schalke. Actually, Max Meyer was one of the targets for Spurs for a while, but they saw all the flaws in him and they let him
Yeah,
go.
I mean, him going to Spurs, that would have been a great move for him. To be fair, I mean, you can't knock
but
Spurs for that.
is
Right,
he
and I
better
think
than
that's-
Harry Winks? No.
Well, and that's the kind of move that he wanted because I think
Yes.
there's a lot of people interested in him, but there wasn't a lot of people ready to pull the trigger on that.
Yes.
Or pay him $200,000 a week or however
Yeah.
much he's getting paid.
Yes.
Yeah, and I mean, especially when somebody does that sort of thing of "I'm bigger than my team" that just
And-
finished second in the Bundesliga.
Yeah, you can't say you're bigger than the team that just raised you up. I mean, even I'm not sure how Goretzka handled his exit. To be fair,
Goretzka, it was a polite bow out.
Yeah,
but
so-
he also, he left on a free.
Yeah, I
so
know, and
Schalke got screwed by
Yeah.
two players.
but he wasn't like parading the fact that I'm so much better than Schalke. Like he was, but, like,
he was very humbled. He was sad to leave, but
Yeah.
he knew in his heart that he deserved to play somewhere better. And losing Goretzka destroyed Schalke. That was it for them when it came to playing in Champions League and playing in the just in the Bundesliga that season. We almost were relegated.
Yeah, 14th or 15th, something bad like
it was
that,
very
yeah.
bad. We fell very far.
But
But everybody's getting older on that team. Anyway,
yeah,
Schalke.
Schalke is but Palace, honestly, I mean, like last season they beat
To me, okay, so
City. No, I don't think it was them.
To me,
they beat
think
City
about
the year
it.
before.
what would have been the biggest detriment to Crystal Palace? Losing Wan-Bissaka or losing Wilfried Zaha?
I think
it's Zaha.
I think Zaha is the smaller of the two losses. I think
I think so
lost
too.
more by losing Wan-Bissaka.
I think so
for
too.
sure.
I think Wan-Bissaka really held it
I
down
think
for
he was the
them.
bigger player. I think he was the better player last season.
Yes.
Okay, Zaha, I feel like he did well, but he signed that contract. He tied himself down.
Yes.
He should have left way before signing that contract.
Absolutely. But he knew that he's going to start, and I think that was one of the things that he really wants is to be not only be a prolific player, but be the always like
Yeah,
the
the main
star.
man, yeah.
But if he leaves and goes to somewhere like United or City or anywhere Liverpool, like he would never be considered
Yeah.
as one of the top players at that team because there's better players there.
Yeah, and his 10 goals and 7 assists last season. I mean, that's not 80 million.
Well, also if you think about it, Crystal Palace for the longest time had the least amount of goals
Really?
But I think
last season.
for 70 million, Zaha is a good option.
Really?
For 90 million,
I would say
which is what Palace wants. No,
I don't think 70 million is
I don't.
I think
think
it's
that's
too much.
60 is the
I don't
most.
think
I would say
that's
say 55 to 60 would be the
in
most.
this market. What's he ranked at on Transfer Market?
That's a great.
So,
I mean, he's at Selhurst Park till he's 30 now with that new contract.
And that's
obviously
that's
the price is
not
going to
good
be
for
high.
him or
that's awful for him. I mean,
yeah,
at
that's
least
not good for him or Crystal
Yeah,
Palace.
market value according to Transfer Market is 51 million
See, there you go.
dollars.
Yeah, he's
Yes.
not. Okay, so it's a little bit more in euros.
I would
but,
say
like,
50 million.
Yeah,
I wouldn't.
that's
I wouldn't
that's the most I would
ever
want
buy him
Arsenal.
for more than 50 million.
I mean, Everton saw Alex Iwobi for 35 million. Sorry,
And that's-
as a better
that's a
option.
mistake.
And, yeah, first of all, that is a mistake. I love Iwobi, but geez, but I still agree. It was a better option than splashing out far too much on Wilfried Zaha.
Yes.
Right, and the problem is just Palace wants too much for him.
Yes.
No one is going to pay that, and he's stuck in that
And that's why
contract
Hodgson wanted
forever.
it.
And that's what they wanted, is they wanted to make it either a huge cash-in if he goes,
Yes.
which no sane club in their right mind is going to pay that.
Yeah.
Ed Woodward joined the chat.
Let me tell you something.
Well, United made some interesting moves.
And they didn't make the right
didn't
one.
make-
They made the right one with Wan-Bissaka, I feel. And actually, you know what? I think even when I talked about this last week, but even though they paid $90 million for Harry Maguire, he's a very, very solidified center
right,
back.
80 million.
Yeah,
I think it was 85.
something like that.
Split the difference.
Around the,
I think-
yeah.
But
Moving
I
on
think, I mean, as much crap as Ed Woodward gets, and as much crap as Ed Woodward deserves,
Do we know
this,
what
this
happened?
was a fairly good transfer window for them. I think
Kendall rated it a C-, and he said it's because the Bruno Fernandes thing just fell apart.
yes, and, I mean,
he doesn't know how.
There was a lot of upset United fans because I think they wanted more.
Well, they need a center mid.
And they need a lot of stuff.
They need a center mid.
they need a lot of
Bring
there's-
Fellaini
the
back.
The United team needs a lot of help in a lot of areas, but I think the most pressing issues were solved, which was center back and
And right
wing
back. Yeah.
Which those were the two things that they needed to solve, and they brought in Daniel James as a new winger, which they also needed.
And he's looked pretty all right.
Yeah, he's off to a good start.
Yes, I don't think it was realistic to expect them to sign like 8 players.
The crazy thing to
all
me
for,
is
like,
the
100
Bruno
million.
Fernandes deal was done, and then something happened, and it just disappeared.
Right. And I mean that kind of thing happens. And I mean I feel like it could have been a lot worse for United. They could
Sure.
have been walking out of this transfer window with a shiny new Gareth Bale, and that's it. Like that
would that
was
have
a
been
very
that
likely
bad of a thing?
situation. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
no,
it
their
would.
defense wasn't.
Yes, could you
You know.
imagine another season of Chris Smalling, Phil Jones, but now you have Gareth Bale on the wing? I mean, you can start Gareth Bale and Alexis Sanchez both up front for
They
the
haven't even touched Alexis
God,
Sanchez.
that's gross.
yeah. Just think of that front line for a moment.
and it's still not going to be good. Yeah,
I think it's funny that Alexis Sanchez got replaced by Daniel James.
he deserved it. I mean, obviously, I'm one to hate Alexis Sanchez, but he was looking bad by the end of his Arsenal. Like his last, like
He
half
looked
season
terrible
Arsenal.
at United
He was-
last year.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Oh God! Oh my God! I mean, beyond. I mean, he was a joke. At,
I
he
wanted
shouldn't
him
even
to
be there.
stay at Arsenal. Think of that. That would have been bad. But they didn't. I'm not sure. I think it was like a 20. I think they paid 20 million plus Mkhitaryan.
Yes.
Mkhitaryan and Sanchez have both looked like so bad. It should have just never happened. He should have just won.
Well, I
wound out
think
his
Mkhitaryan's
contract.
been doing better than
I think
Better
so
than
too.
Sanchez, but
Alexis
you know
Sanchez
he's still
has
woeful.
been an absolute joke. I mean, I think he scored 5 goals since he's moved
Yeah.
to United.
In a year and a half.
Well, and he hasn't started a lot either. So
Well, no, but I mean,
But,
that's
you know,
also
it's
part of the
performance,
issue.
yes.
For his wages, he should be starting. But anyway, we'll get to United in a moment. We're not there yet.
Chelsea, Leicester.
Chelsea, Leicester. Chelsea won. Leicester City
this
won.
game ended up being the game that I wanted to watch. Because
ended up
I
being the
felt
game that I
like the
did
youth
watch.
of Chelsea looked a lot better in this game, and they had Leicester on the ropes for a while. I feel.
Yes. So I think
First
the first
half,
half
actually.
was Chelsea.
Yes.
The first half was all Chelsea. Mason Mount got the goal.
Often
they lined
awful
up good.
Ndidi mistake.
Yes.
And I mean it. Yes, and I mean, but they got the early goal. They're at Stamford Bridge. They're in front, and I think at that point, and I think this is what has happened with Chelsea, both games so far, is both Frank Lampard and his team don't have the experience to see out Premier League games. And this came back to bite them because their second half was terrible. It really was. They brought on Tammy Abraham up front. It took off Pulisic,
But at least he started.
yeah, but he really didn't play well.
And James Madison stomped all over them.
Well, and we can also say right now that Chelsea also played the UEFA Super Cup.
Oh,
and they were probably exhausted.
Yeah,
too.
I kind of forgot about that.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think this team is. And again, had they not taken the lead at the start, I would have said UEFA Super Cup did them in, but I don't think it was a case of running out of gas.
I think you just don't like Frank Lampard.
Well, it's not just Frank Lampard; it's the whole team.
I mean, their back four doesn't.
You got the Spurs and the Arsenal fan here, like, yeah, Chelsea looked pretty okay, and then you're like, oh, I don't know, Chelsea.
Well, no, I think just between Kurt Zuma, Mason Mount, Tammy Abraham,
I don't think Mason Mount's that bad. He scored a goal.
No.
I don't think they're bad. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they're bad. I think all those players are good. Even Kurt Zuma is decent. Yes, he had a howl
He has
last
not
week,
been great so far.
But I mean, his time at Everton, he was a decent center back, and I think it's not the fact that they're bad. They're not bad players. But they are too young and too inexperienced that when stuff starts to go south, Leicester starts pressing hard and starts getting chances, they fold.
Well,
And when United starts
that's
getting
where
chances,
I credit it
they
to.
fold.
That's where I credit it to them playing the Super Cup because I haven't seen them the rest of the season yet. So once they start playing more games, we can have a better scope on how Chelsea reacts to second half games where they go up and they have that that mentality like, oh yeah, we can win this game, and then they fall apart.
I see Chelsea playing very good football this season, but not winning a lot of games.
Not okay. The beginning of the season was always going to be bumpy for them.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, of course, there's a chance it's going to get better. But I mean, I think it. I mean, you could really see it in Tammy Abraham's body language when he gets subbed on, and almost immediately Leicester scores a second goal, and the look on his face of now I'm the person who's now is in charge of winning this game was too much for him.
He should have started.
You could tell that he was...
But he was probably exhausted.
He was just... I mean, when that goal went in, he was just like, oh my... Really? Really?
Where's Batshuayi?
Yeah.
Yeah, why hasn't
Like
he
actually,
played?
like he's. I mean,
I would pick him over Giroud.
Yeah, I don't like Giroud, obviously, personally, after the
But
Europa League final.
Batshuayi is an interesting player because I feel like most of the time we've seen him play, he's played well. His loan spell at Dortmund was good.
He plays terrible on Chelsea for some reason.
At Palace was good. Even when he plays for Chelsea, which was rarely before he went on his 2-season-long loan tour, he was scoring goals.
Sure.
He did well. He did fantastic at Dortmund. He did decent at Crystal Palace.
He did
had a bad time
terrible at Valencia.
But I feel like there's something going on with him in training that he's not getting starts.
I mean, it's gotta be like there's
It's got to be because there's something he's clearly not showing or putting in the effort to get into the team, and
yes,
because he should have been getting playtime at this point, at least from off the bench. There's no reason that I don't think Olivier Giroud or Tammy Abraham have showed enough between them that they are the two nailed down strikers.
Yes.
I don't think I mean at this point, what's the difference bringing Batshuayi in off the bench when you're one up against Leicester?
I think it's unfair to also say this early too, though, because I'm sure we will see Batshuayi.
I'm willing to bet you, and if we don't in 2-3 weeks, then I'm going to be even more shocked.
Also, there's going to be an injury. There's always going to be an injury.
Yeah. And speaking of injuries, Rudiger, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Callum Hudson-Odoi. There we go. I mean, obviously they're all out.
And
they just sold Zappacosta too. I mean, they're losing depth left and right. I mean, if Nicky was here, he'd be ranting about that right now.
But now we can. And you guys are really spoiling this opportunity. This is a time that we can talk as much crap about Chelsea as we want.
What, you can't talk crap around Nicky for it?
Well, no, he won't be here. There's no one to defend them.
It's unfair to do that.
We can kick them while they're down.
But I mean,
I don't know. I don't think Chelsea is as bad as I initially thought that they would be.
No, I don't think they're a bad side. I think they're a very good side, but I think they're a very weak-minded side.
but are they top 4 quality?
Oh
No,
God, no,
no.
no.
I said 6th, I believe.
Yeah. And of course,
I think they'll be lucky to be top 10 quality, honestly.
Ooh.
It's big words. We'll see what happens.
And James Madison again did pretty well in the game.
Oh yeah, James Madison.
Bagged him an assist.
James Madison actually didn't look very good in that first game, and actually in the first half of this game he didn't look that great either. But eventually he seemed to kind of get his footing.
And again, this time around, Perez has looked poor.
Yeah.
Well, and
He's
that's
just
the
a
thing about
bystander.
Ayoze Perez. Ayoze Perez is a very streaky player, and that's something that you have to kind of take into account about him. When he's on, he'll be scoring. He'll be getting assists. He'll be a great player. When he's off, he is off. There is no.
I think he's been very.
There
off.
is no median between those two.
Right. Yeah, I think he's been very off so far this season.
But I mean,
So Ndidi got the late goal. It was off of a header, I believe.
A cross by. I don't exactly remember. But yeah, it was a cross. Oh, James Madison actually. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I said that he bagged the assist earlier.
And it was
I don't
in
know.
the 67th or what was it?
Yeah, 67.
In the 67th minute.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
But I mean, imagine James Madison in that Norwich side. Pookie would be scoring like 2 hat tricks.
They would look amazing.
Yeah.
Norwich would have been
They did
something
just
with
sell him to Leicester a couple seasons ago.
2 seasons
so.
ago. Yep. That would have been something.
Yeah. So, but I mean, he's.
But they got up without him.
Yeah, I know. You can't hate him for that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and James Madison has looked fantastic. Norwich has looked pretty good. So, I mean,
Yeah.
you can't say neither of them have
Or need them, Like,
Yeah.
no, neither of them need each other. So.
Yep. So, I mean, I don't know. Things look positive on James Madison front, even a little bit on the Leicester
Things
front.
look negative on the Leicester front to me.
Really?
I don't think they're achieving as much as they should have been,
Yes.
but I think they're pretty much where they were last year.
Yeah, I mean, 2 draws in a row to start.
But
off the
is that
season.
enough to keep Brandon Rodgers around this long?
Ooh, I mean, hold up. I mean, he just got
joined.
here.
Yes,
Yeah,
but
so-
is their performance
Still early. Still
I-
early.
Well, what
I'd
I'm
say-
saying is the performance like this where they get draw after draw after draw.
I'd say Wolves,
that's
Wolves
not
and
what they're
Chelsea
looking for,
are like
right?
2 pretty
I
really
think
tough
if-
opening fixtures.
If Leicester City draws against Sheffield United next week,
Questions will be asked.
alarm bells are going to start going off.
Yes.
They have a pretty easy run of games over the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, the next 2 weeks are
Sheffield,
They
Newcastle.
have 3 games kind of in a span of 2 weeks. So, I mean, they do have that
Sure.
Football League Cup against Newcastle, but they have 3 kind of easy opponents. If we don't see some wins coming out of that, it's going to be a tough run.
Just say that
against-
United is an easy opponent.
No.
like,
Sheffield
Sheffield-
United, Newcastle, and Bournemouth.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're gonna
okay.
be in trouble
Are
when
the
they play.
next 3 fixtures.
I put
They need to
Bournemouth and
get
Leicester
something-
pretty similar.
They need to get some stuff out of these fixtures, and
Yes.
if they don't, by the time they hit United and then Tottenham,
And then Newcastle and Liverpool.
it could get pretty dicey for them.
Great Escape again? Who knows? This squad's a lot
Well,
better.
I
so.
think if by the time if they have still not won a game by the time they get to face United on the 14th of September,
Mm-hmm.
I think questions are starting to get asked about Brendan Rodgers and if we want to keep him around.
Sure.
But I would be absolutely shocked if they don't pull off at least a win in one of those games.
Yep.
So, all right, moving on because we're already quite long-winded.
Wolves and United.
Wolves won. Manchester United won.
United looked fantastic
This
that
was a
first half.
cracking game. This was such a fun game to watch.
They looked so good the first
United. This is a tale of 2 halves, just kind
Yes.
of like the last game actually.
Yes.
I mean, United was insane the first half. They were like running like Wolves did not.
That
have
Tony
an attack.
Martial goal was.
Oh my! Luke Shaw. Can we talk about how good Luke Shaw is? I never thought I would say that sentence in my life. Luke Shaw draws 3 defenders with him
Yes.
on that insane run after starting the attack. Oh my goodness! I love Luke Shaw.
You wouldn't expect it, no, and he's slow, but he's.
But what was that? He was faster than Martial.
Yeah, I
Martial had,
don't get it. I
A
don't get it.
head start on him.
He had a lot of adrenaline. Maybe he had some monster right before he
He
went on.
skipped on the biscuits that morning.
And so I think let's jump. So yeah, Anthony Martial scored the opening goal, and then we have the penalty. where there was quite a
Pogba-
bit of disagreement over who was taking the penalty.
No, there wasn't a disagreement.
No, Rashford let him have it.
Yeah,
but,
Rashford was like, "No, you can take it."
but like that ended up
But
being the worst.
I didn't
decision
see any like
possible.
any negativity
Well,
in that.
yes, but
I mean,
Gary Neville brought this up on the Sky Sports show after the show, or after the game, where he was very, very upset over this, and he was claiming that this is disgraceful, and that United should have a given penalty taker, and they should know who's taking that penalty when that happens.
like this.
And they also mentioned,
But so many teams do that.
well, and he also mentioned that the player who just got fouled should not take the penalty because they are
Because of an injury risk?
No,
No,
not
anger.
because if they're already rattled and they're already upset.
But I feel like that would be more of a reason to have them take it because I feel like with the adrenaline going, they might score.
Well,
it.
no,
he's
then
gonna-
that's when you're going to blast it over
Yeah.
or do something silly because you're going to try to piss off the goalkeeper by trying to chip them or do something kind of crazy. And his argument, and I mean, he said that, and oftentimes in like U18s or younger, it's oftentimes you bring up your fullback to take a penalty in those cases because they have no idea what's going on, and they're all the way in the back, and they have no, they're not in the heat of it.
I don't know. To me, if you're the one who's fouled, I feel like you should at least get to either take it or decide,
Yeah.
to pass it.
But I think Rashford and Pogba. I mean, I'm bringing Arsenal to this, but Rashford and Pogba are not, Lacazette and Aubameyang. Like they're best friends. They'll give each other penalties. I mean, yeah. But Rashford and like Pogba has seen. I mean, I don't know for sure, but Pogba apparently is a little toxic in the locker room.
Yes.
According to Ole. So. I mean, this isn't helping his case, and of course on Twitter he's been like, racially abused. It's not been pretty at United.
Yeah, of course.
Right. And I think I don't know. I think it's an interesting situation because of course then Pogba goes on to miss or get the penalty
hit
saved.
Patricio.
Yeah.
And Patricio makes a great
Patricio
save.
made a huge save.
I mean, yeah,
it's
huge
fantastic.
save, and
Not
it's-
taking anything away from him.
and he made a great save and got me 5 extra points in FPL. So I was happy about that, but it's I don't know if Rashford takes that penalty, does he convert it and win the game potentially? And I think where some of the anger from United fans comes in because it is a case of it's this kind of disagreement over who's taking the penalty, and then Pogba takes it because he's Paul Pogba and blows his chance. Now,
Everybody will nitpick something when it comes to that, though.
but
I feel like
but-
United fans always want to find something wrong with their team just so they can yell at them about it.
There always is something wrong with United.
Yeah, I know.
yes,
but
but I mean, so let's take it to
The wind
let's
could be
take it
blowing
to-
the wrong
let's
way.
take it to the next game. When there's the next penalty, do you let Paul Pogba take it?
No.
no.
So do you on the training ground have to establish a penalty taker?
I mean, yeah.
Yes.
I think they have to. It's got to be. I mean, Rashford. I mean, he looks all right. I mean, he needs to take penalties, keep up his confidence.
I think somebody has to step it up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because there's not a designated penalty taker on this team. Where
Sure.
oftentimes there is. There are cases where somebody will take a penalty for whatever reason, but most teams have a designated penalty taker that it's their job to take the penalty, and unless there is a reason that somebody else wants to take the penalty or saying I'm going to take this, that person is designated to take it.
Sure.
And there did not seem to be that in this game.
United's team. I mean, they seem to work well together. This game, especially. But then you have moments like these, and it just kind of takes that away a little bit.
And then of course we have the Ruben Neves goal.
Oh my
It's a great
goodness!
goal.
And it got checked for
Fantastic
VAR.
goal.
My heart stopped when they were checking that.
I don't
for
even know
VAR.
why
I was
they
like,
checked that. I mean,
It was
I
'cause,
get it was offside,
possibly
but
his
yeah.
foot was a little offside. Moutinho's foot was offside. Sorry.
Yeah. Overall, that was a beautiful goal.
And the rest of the
we've
game.
been waiting for that from Ruben Neves for a bit now.
Oh
It's
my
been a
gosh,
little bit
it
since
has,
he scored
but,
one like that.
But I think I think this is the difference between say Wolves and Chelsea. Wolves goes 1-0 down, finds the resolve, digs deep, gets the goal, and sees off Manchester United with a draw.
I will say, Wolves has the better midfield. Look at their
Oh,
midfield.
for sure.
Ruben Neves, Joao Moutinho, and Leon
Oh, absolutely.
Den Doctor.
I mean,
Den Doctor.
I don't think anyone's going to tell you that this Wolves side isn't very, very good. This Wolves side is really good.
Honestly, the only thing they're missing is a star center back.
And I
They're
mean,
not starting-
being able to hold Manchester United, who demolished Chelsea last week 4-0
Yeah.
to a 1-1 draw,
Yes.
is a fantastic result.
And imagine if Jimenez and Jota were both in their scoring prime.
form.
Yeah, and Jimenez
And they're not.
and Jota are
Yeah,
not,
they did not look
are
good.
not
Jimenez
firing right now.
again looked terrible.
And Jota didn't turn any heads.
No.
However, this performance, nobody expected it. Traore, there's too many Traores. I don't know.
Well, they
which one.
accidentally subbed him on, right? That was
exactly.
the thing.
But he looked like perfect.
He just
had, like,
can't hit the net.
Yeah, that one shot he had was
I
proof
love
of that.
Adama Traore.
He's great for crossing it in.
Dude, he's so
so fast.
He's so fast.
And I think there
He
was
just cannot finish.
There was one of my favorite moments of last season was when Adama Traore got the ball in Wolves versus Liverpool and sprinted past Van Dijk. And this was the only time that I think I've ever seen Van Dijk actually look like he was trying. Because Adama Traore runs up the wing and Van Dijk sprints and catches up with him and makes a fantastic tackle to stop that. But Adama Traore is I think, one of the fastest players in the league.
Yeah,
if not
I mean,
the fastest.
Daniel James, I think Daniel James actually beats him. But Adama Traore, after he had like that one I don't know, they had this great attack where it ended up getting to Jota. Jota had like a great shot, but it wasn't a good angle or something like that, and he just kind of flew it over the bar. He looked so confident after that, and that just kind of made his game. It set the tone for the second half. So the second half for Wolves was pretty good. So, yeah.
Everyone's now laughing at me because I've realized that my microphone has been backwards this whole podcast. I'm just gonna spin that right around.
He was giving it the weirdest look. He was looking under the microphone.
So on that note, now that the audio is fixed, we're gonna wrap this up. Thanks for listening, and tune in next week for hopefully me having the microphone pointing the right way. Thank you.
Hopefully one more Daniel James dive next week, so he can be booed by another team.